Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Business Growth Made Easy podcast, the Salon Professionals podcast, where we help salon professionals create more profits with less stress. And today I have an amazing artist, educator. To me, he's an industry icon, my dear friend and East Coast colleague, Nick ARROJO. So without any further ado, Nick, you tell our amazing audience of salon professionals globally a little bit about you and your magic. Some of our newer stylists may not know who you are yet, and they will love to know who you are and everything you have to offer. So I hand it over to you.
Well, thanks very much. And it's great to be here. I've been in the hair business now for almost 40 years. I can't even believe it's that long, and it's changed so much. But from my early days working for the iconic Vidal Sassoon, then working through, obviously from the United Kingdom, from England, Manchester. I then moved to London, worked for Weller. So that was really fantastic, learning a lot about the beauty business from the manufacturer's side. Then I came stateside, worked for a company called Bumble and Bumble,
Yes.
which was really exciting to work for that company and help them as they grew their business. And then I ventured out into my own kind of future, created my own future. It's called ARROJO, and it consists of 2 lines of hair care products: ARROJO Product, American Wave Hair Care. It also consists of an educational school where we have cosmetology, barbering, and osteology. All those classes going on right now, as well as having now 2 salons in New York City. It used to be 3, but the pandemic took care of 1, and we're fighting for our lives to keep the whole machine moving forward, as we've all been so grossly affected by what's been going on in the world today.
That's for sure. And I tell you, I think your lines are amazing. I've used them personally, and I really endorse your products and your schools. And I think you just have an amazing impact on our industry. So what do you feel where are we going in the beauty business? Like, I know, like, what's your take on what does everyone in our industry need to know from someone who's been in it? You've been a multiple salon owner, you're created your own brand, you're an educator. So you're in like many facets of our industry. So you see the new people learning, you see the experienced people and seasoned people trying to step up their game. You're all about being a visionary, creating your own brands. Tell me what you feel everyone needs to really be focused on and be real about right now.
Stamina. That's what I say, stamina. Because I'll tell you, you can have ideas, you can have intention, but we're in a very thick fog. And this thick, soupy fog is affecting the future. And the reason being is because what we do as an industry, we're personal with our clients and with our people. We're very tactile. What we do, we have to touch somebody. Yes. Clearly, the pandemic has pushed us away. And we continue to now kind of look at the news. Of course, when this thing started over a year ago, no one realized what we were heading into. And the world moves, and it continues to move. And the beauty business has changed so much. We have gone from big mega brands salons where it was such a, great thing to open up a salon and have employees and help your people grow. And then what happened was, from the salon side, everybody wanted to take that piece. And then we went into the suites. So then everybody went into their own little mini brand. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they can make their mini brand look like a mega brand, because if they've got 1,000 followers or 20,000 followers or 100,000 followers, then their little mini brand can become a mega brand. So everyone's competing against each other. And now we have a pandemic, which has changed everything because, and technology. The way technology goes, you used to get your hair care from the beauty salon. Now you don't get your hair care from the beauty salon. You get your hair care from online. You can get your hair color online. We're seeing a massive change in our industry. We would see our clients every 4 to 6 weeks. Now we'll see them every 4 to 6 months out of desperation. Yeah. So, our business has been smashed, and no one's been fighting for us, nowhere near enough. Not like the lobbyists for the restaurant business. I believe the beauty industry has been smashed more than the restaurant business, because You know, a consumer has to eat every day, but they only need to get their haircut or hair color done once every 6, 8, or like right now, maybe 3 to 6 months.
Right.
So what is the future? I think we're all looking for what that future is. Yeah, I don't think that there's a crystal ball. I look at the manufacturers now. We're all doing online education. Online education can be great. And I've obviously developed an educational platform
Mhm.
where I am teaching online. And it's very successful and really quite efficient and effective, but we like community. And when you are teaching somebody through a portal, because of our practicality, it's not like cooking.
Mhm.
You have to touch, feel, and show the angle, which is a
Yes.
lot harder. So I say stamina, and I'll continue to look at what the future is, because where are we going to end up at the end of all of this? What is going to happen? Are people going to still continue to travel? Life is not going to go back to normal. In New York City, less than 10% of the workforce is
Yes.
actually coming to work. So when you have a major decrease in population, you've got
Mhm.
this massive population decrease, this slide down, then all of a sudden the bills are exactly the same, but you don't have the
Yes.
same, network of people to reach out to. So where will we end up? I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know. But what I will say is I'll say that we can't throw the towel in. What we have to do is we have to continue to do what we know works.
Mhm.
We have to continue to look outside of the box to see what the future could look like. But we have to stay in the journey and try to live a little bit month to month, week to week, survive in that capacity while looking to what is around the corner. Ultimately, one would hope that the virus will dissipate or will fade from everyday life,
Right.
and it'll be something that we can live with and we can get back to some sense of normalcy.
Correct.
But I don't know about you, but I can tell you, people want to work from home. They
Mhm.
don't want to go back to the office.
Yes.
People say it's just as you can be just as productive from being at home. I personally don't believe that is the case.
I
Of
agree
course,
with
it
you.
sounds good. I
Yep.
don't have to. If I have to be at the office at 9 o'clock, but if I'm working from home, I can still get up at 9:30. I can get up at 10. I can still I can work a little bit later if one needs to. I can get the jobs done, but the jobs, a lot of businesses is not getting the jobs done. It's the motivation
Yes.
to work.
And you know what I've noticed, Nick? I'm in New Jersey, so we're very close to each other. And I think this podcast is global. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, it's global. And I think it's a little different. You and I are speaking, and I know I spoke to some other industry icons in our area. I think
Yeah.
it depends where you are in the country. Yes, we've all been impacted, but different areas a little more. Now, I personally feel that I see people, even when you go out, they're not put together, they're not dressed, they're not doing their hair, they're not putting their, again, I see such a huge, it's almost like they're depressed, but I think it's because there is no routine. They aren't going anywhere. So you're right. This whole state of mind, I think maybe I personally am working harder to cultivate the clients that I did have for many years to keep them on track with their mindset. If anything else, I'm being more of a psychologist today than ever. And
Well,
I wonder what your thoughts are on this. I mean, do you feel the same?
we've always kind of been psychologists. We've
Oh yeah.
always been, personal shrinks, because we talk to, the human population about personal things probably more than most. We're like the bartender without the alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that when we're in a fog. Yeah, there's a fog. And until we get back to living, we're still going to be in this fog. So what does that mean for you and I? For hairdressing at large, it means less visits, less frequency. So it means that we need to pricing. We need to develop. I mean, we've stuck in low pricing for a very long time. I mean, if I think about the price of what we do, the training, the
I know.
education, the commitment, the importance of,
I
you
know.
know, personal care. You can go to Neiman Marcus and you can pick up a pair of jeans and they'll be $1,000 or $1,200 or
Mm.
$1,800 for a designer pair of jeans. Yeah, hair cutting, hair color. Hair color's increased in price because you can build your ticket, but the haircut itself has not.
Yeah.
So it's really stayed low. I think our pricing business model is off, and the expectation too. The expectation, um, it's like when we're actually doing hair, people think that they can get quality hair services done without having to pay for it.
Right.
I believe completely different. I
I do
believe
too.
skill set is critical,
Mhm.
but if you're not going out of the house and you're living more in a kind of, it's like we're on a pause.
We're on a pause, right?
We're on a pause, yeah, but we still have to keep paying the bills.
You're right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And we can't really plan for the future because we don't even know what's going to happen to the future.
I know.
If you think about how bad it is in Europe
Mhm.
and you see how progress isn't great, and you see that last week everybody was feeling quite optimistic in New York City, but I wake up today and see that the cases are rising again.
Yes.
So, we talk about wave 3. Will we be in a place 6 months from now or a year from now where we're talking about wave 7?
Right,
Yeah, I don't know.
right.
And humans are humans. They like to touch each other.
Yeah,
We
you're
like to get
right.
in
Well, you're
close
right.
personal,
We do.
like to
I miss that
interact.
interaction, right? Even with live events. So what's your thoughts on creating another stream of income? So I teach this personally in my business. A lot of people frown upon it. But you have your own brands. Do you think maybe venturing out, if someone's got the means or someone's got the idea to create maybe their own private label brand and create another stream of income online. Like you said, I think we have to reinvent ourselves to not get stuck behind. Yes, the hands-on part is the hands-on part, but how can we what are your thoughts on creating other little streams of income to, balance out how the future is evolving?
I would say that, it's very hard. Listen, another shampoo line, another this, another that. You're competing. You're
Yeah,
competing.
of
Yeah. And
course.
and in a world now where it's it's not unique. Yeah. And is your price point going to bring that much more?
Right,
What
right.
I would be suggesting to most hairdressers is look at what they do every single day and see how they can build on what they're doing.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? It means, am I still trying to get that one new client? People are still looking. I was just in Atlanta and I did a client's hair for the very first time.
Mhm.
She looked for me and I found her and we got together and I cut her hair for a premium price,
Good.
styled her hair for a premium price. I think that's what people should be looking at. You go back to basics,
Mhm.
double down backwards. Okay, how many clients can I do in a day and how much revenue can I make in a day?
Right.
And that's what the focus should be. Focus on that. And I think that don't just focus pure and simply on the money,
Mhm.
but you have to focus on that, but focus on building each ticket. I think we forget how to retail. I think we forget how to upsell. I think, of course, we're living through this too.
Yeah.
A little bit of self-care is something that's very, very important for yourself so that when you come to work, you're kind of completely focused. Stay in a holding pattern. Don't let your revenue diminish this year. Stay in a holding pattern. Build on the foundation of the building blocks of, kind of stability.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm a firm believer in. And that's what I would suggest. And I think that when the fog lifts, then you'll know. I have lots and lots of ideas about what the future could be.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that our industry, as it's happened, I was scrolling through, and there was a topic in a debate about commission salon versus rental or booth.
Mhm.
There's got to be some way in which we don't have to choose one or the other.
Right.
Employees, in my opinion, having been the employer doesn't really work so much for hairdressing. Yeah, it's become not the best thing because as as an employee, the minute you start to get busy,
Yeah.
they all start to think that the boss is taking money from them.
Yes.
So the mentality shift has to change.
Right.
And we have to look at that now. How do we do that? I do have ideas on how that can happen, but then you have governing laws.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What constitutes 1099, a 1099 employee, a
Right.
W-2 employee,
Right.
a
And every
1099, not
state is different. That's the whole
every
thing.
state.
Every state we're dealing with the state board. Every state we're dealing with different tax laws. So it's not I mean, in New Jersey, birth rental is still illegal. It doesn't exist. And suites just started, like they just started. So,
but I mean, and that's one of the only states I think that doesn't have it. But now
yep.
you've got suites. What's the difference? You know?
Mhm.
You know, in New York, you can have you know, employees working you can have independents working and renting what they used to call renting chairs. And in
Right, right.
California, they changed the laws from renting chairs to not being able to, for the simple reason that, you know, I mean, I think about things like blow dry bar. How's blow dry bar going to survive?
I know. I
We,
agree
we
with
had all these blow dry bars coming and kind of changing our industry a lot, and it wasn't for the better, in my opinion.
you. No.
Yeah, that's VC money doing its best to make money, but that's how the world turns, and I'm
Yes.
into that, to be honest with you.
Yes.
But how are they going to survive? So what is going to be the next wave? And the next wave, really, we got to be. I think we're becoming more and more like doctors. We're
I
becoming
agree.
more and more like specialists. Yeah,
I agree.
and it's one-on-one. So
Yeah.
I think that you've got to build your one-on-one, and then maybe you've got to use the tools to do the tools that we have to actually make your business look like it's even stronger and more robust.
Yeah. And I
It's
think you're right. The
it's a
resilience. I think
yeah.
whoever's resilient and flexible and has the stamina, I think, is gonna really come out on top. And maybe in that relationship, let's be honest, everyone's craving the connection, being together. So when you have that client, this is just my point of view, and it sounds like you're the
Yep.
same. It's really cultivating that and making that the best damn experience they've had in a long time, where they feel actually loved. Because I think the way they feel is going to make them be more committed. And again, that's just my perspective on the whole thing.
And you don't know. I mean, you know, we don't know that all of a sudden things could change and we could get back to the roaring 20s, only it's
Yeah.
2020s as opposed to 1920s, you know, and there's a lot of talk about that, you know, but I think there's optimism with the vaccination. But
Mhm.
then the reality is there's still bad news out there and we've got to be wary. So it's like a marathon. We have
Yes.
to steady our ship. Don't try to expand too fast.
Mhm.
Try and steady what you've got doing and
Yes.
start thinking about how to do what you're doing better. And and then as time passes by, one would hope the sunshine will come and the clouds will disappear. And then you'll be able to make greater headway. Yeah. You
Yeah,
know, if people go more and more independent, one of the biggest issues that we have then is the training. Who's
exactly.
who's teaching the people? And you can, and there's so many different, you know, it's like hairdressing's like it's not a universal language.
Right.
There are so many different ways to do things, and everyone's got their own kind of method.
Yes,
So,
yes.
you know, when I grew up, it was kind of like either the Sassoon method or the
Mhm,
French method.
mhm.
Whereas today it's like a smorgasbord of different methods and methodologies. So at the end of the day, you're like, who's going to be training the future? Now,
Yeah.
because my thing is I'm kind of deeply rooted in education,
Mhm.
that is something that obviously I really hold and I'm focusing in on. You know, the product piece, I think with the tools of social
Mhm.
is something that you can reach more people if you have products and you can
Right.
actually get things out there. But it's a highly competitive market.
Sure.
And on the salon piece, I mean, in the salons, it's difficult because you don't have, as we started off with this conversation, you don't have the people on the street like you used to have.
No,
Here
not
in downtown Soho, where I'm surrounded by, I used to have the best location. I always felt it wasn't a tourist location,
mhm.
it was a business location.
Yeah.
It meant there was 250,000 people passing through my kind of small 4 block radius every single day. Well, now that's down to 25,000 people.
I know.
So it's a
Gosh.
big difference with the cost of business. So we're in uncharted waters,
We
and
are.
it'll be interesting to see where we end up. It's easy to come up with ideas. Anybody can think of an idea,
Mhm.
and everyone, you know, comes up with a great idea.
Right.
But the idea is the easiest thing to do. The hardest thing to do is to execute, plan, strategize, and
Right.
actually make it successful.
Yeah. Follow through.
But follow through is the hardest thing, yeah, while still managing to maintain what you're doing day to day.
Right. And it's true.
So
It's true. Like, my business, 34 years, I've been a salon owner, and I'm the breadwinner. I took care of my family. So when this all shifted, I had to really be quick on my feet because, like you said, the bills keep coming and no one cares. It's like, whoa, I've never seen this before in 34 years, just like yourself. But I think you, me, and so many other big-hearted, really intense people who really love this industry. I think we're going to give hope and we're going to lead the way for others to really realize that you can rebuild yourself, and we will. It might not look the same, but as you said, there's got to be a different way of doing things, and it'll work out. And just focus on what you got, right, Nick?
Yeah, this is the beauty industry. Yeah. And everyone wants to look the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you get older, it becomes more and more
Oh,
important.
it becomes much harder.
And it becomes harder, but it becomes more important to you, but you'll invest more money to make sure that you do look as youthful as you can. Yeah. One of
Absolutely.
the biggest challenges that I would say I have personally is like, how do you stay relevant and how do you stay youthful? Yeah.
Yes,
You
totally.
know, I don't want to be the stood behind a chair 20 years from now. That's not
Right,
really not the vision that I had for myself. Not
right.
that I don't want to still do hair. I just don't want to be locked into that. And
Mhm.
I also, who do you attract? You attract like-minded people. So you are like-minded people, their perception of you. So
Mhm.
you have to stay youthful. And I think that I think that we're going to get so sick and tired of not being able to be around. And as you rightly said, the TV show that I was on, What Not to Wear, was great for people because
Mhm.
it helped people look at themselves through a fresh pair of a fresh perspective, through a new pair
Yes,
of glasses. And it was amazing for people to see that transformation, that the way you look from the outside creates a transformational change on the inside. So I
absolutely.
do believe that we have a really strong high purpose.
Mhm.
And I think that once the world does start to open up again, there'll be a renewed focus on that. So I do feel that there's optimism in the air, but we still have to navigate through this terrible pandemic that's affected the entire universe. So
It has, you're
it's a
right.
tough one. It's a tough one. So, I mean, just day to day, week to week, just turn up. My best advice to people is just keep turning up,
Yep.
uh, and work through it every day, work through it every week, do the best that you can. And ultimately, at some point, we will hope to be in a position that the world around us will have changed, that
Yes.
will give us the ability to then push on and pursue new and fresh ideas. But I don't think that today's the time to risk too much,
Right.
because we're living in uncertain times.
That's true. Well, Nick, I am so honored that you were able to share your insight with the world. I'm going to be dropping everyone all of Nick's information down below. If you'd like to connect with him, you'd like to go visit him at one of his iconic salons in New York City, visit one of his education centers, or just have a chat with him. I'm sure he'd love to connect with you too. So I want to thank you, Nick, for being with us. Again, I am absolutely grateful and honored to call you friend and colleague.
It
Thank
was a
you so
pleasure being on.
much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.